A very strong system is headed to Europe as we work our way into early next week. It is July 31st, 2025. I want to show you the models in this, what I'm seeing in this. I do appreciate you, though, subscribing to this channel. It's growing very quickly. The idea is not just the subscribers, but the weather community this builds, and this is why a system like this, in the comments section with all of our subscribers, we could put our location, what we have going on, if we have power outages, if we have good weather, all of that stuff, and it helps each other out. So I appreciate you building this weather community. It is growing very quickly. Now, this storm system, I want to show you the track and speed of it, which will be key. The winds in this, the rain in this, and the timing in it. Plus, I want to show you a second system that will be pulling closer as well, right back behind it. Never take your eye off the ball when it comes to weather. You could be watching one thing and something else is developing. So we'll go long term as well. Now, here's what's going on. We are in monitor mode. That means I do appreciate you spreading the word about this. We're going to see a system coming in more similar to what we'd get late in the fall, early in the winter, maybe not as big, but it could be as strong in some locations. It is going to be moving in as we work our way into early next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, moving across Ireland, the UK, swinging back toward the Netherlands, watching Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. This will be moving in. Strong winds, power outages will be possible. Some downed trees will be a possibility. Some of the winds right around 70 miles per hour. That'll be some of the gust, or 110 kilometers an hour. So I've got everyone covered with the different scales. I want to zoom down in just a moment. Here's what's going on now to set the stage. So here we are in Europe, and off the coast of the United States, there's going to be a lot of weather building. An area of low pressure is going to start to form and then kick across the northern Atlantic into the direction of Europe as we work our way into early next week. Now, let's get right to it. Don't want to waste any of your time. Here's the setup. This is today, and then I want to jump out ahead in time. So just to orient you, Sweden, we get over toward Poland, Germany, France, Spain, Ireland, Northern Ireland, as we swing back toward Scotland, Wales, over toward England. Now, moving forward, we're going to be watching this area working its way across the Atlantic. This here is by Sunday, so jumping ahead. Here is the system, a little more compact, a little smaller than some of the storm systems we get across Europe as we work our way into fall, but this one is going to be similar. It starts to get stronger and then starts to work across. I'll zoom down in a moment. This here would be by Monday, so late Sunday, really Sunday night into Monday. That's when we'd get some of the impacts across parts of the UK, swinging back toward Ireland. Very strong winds pulling in behind it, right? So it's this area here that starts to work its way Monday right over toward Belgium, moving over toward the Netherlands, Denmark, and then right into Norway, Sweden, and Finland. This area of low pressure, by the time we get into Tuesday, we'll drive down some strong winds. Even northern sections of Germany will be looking at some stronger winds. All of this filtering around, monitoring the rain outlook with this, which the rain outlook actually may not be too high because this will be relatively a fast mover. And then look what happens on Wednesday, right? We have our area of low pressure, the storm system that we are tracking that could bring some wind damage to some spots, but right behind it, the potential of a second system. So I'll be keeping an eye on that as well as we go over the next several days. This one doesn't look quite as strong, but nonetheless a very active pattern, and that's what sometimes happens. Sometimes we get stuck in a pattern like that for a couple weeks, so we could get some similar systems moving in. Now let me show you the European model, and then we'll cover the winds and the rain and zoom down in this. This here is on Sunday, right? So here we are across the British Isles, swinging back toward Europe. Of course, we'll be contending with some areas of rain and storms, but it's this area in particular that will be moving in. Is it a little bit more of a northern track or southern track? That'll make a big difference for obviously the overall impacts, but also the rain as a whole, because some of us are not going to get much of anything out of this. It's going to be very key where it tracks across. Now, as we work our way into Monday, by Monday, the European model has this just a touch slower than the American model, but you can see it here. Very strong winds moving in, strong winds for Ireland, for example. Then we swing over toward parts of Scotland. That's where even Northern Ireland, where we could get some of the heavier rain, but it will be a fast mover, so the totals won't be high. Some spots where we really need the rain, right? England and Wales, Most of it could be just to the north. Then this here is by Tuesday. That's why I mentioned some of us get it, some of us don't as far as the rain goes. Then this here is by Tuesday, showing those strong winds. Heaviest rain would be parts of Norway and Sweden, but meanwhile, strong winds northern Germany, watching Belgium and the Netherlands. Some rain and storms out ahead of it, moving back through Poland. Again, this here on Tuesday. Then going out in time here, by the time we get into Wednesday, this area of low pressure sliding across Norway, Sweden, should be weakening at that point as it approaches Finland. So eventually dying down. Still some strong winds back behind it, but then keeping an eye on this spin here back behind this. This is that second area that may be moving and maybe not quite as strong, but another storm system pulling back toward Ireland and the UK by the time we get into Wednesday. So it could be a back-to-back scenario. Now here's a closer look. This here is on Sunday, right? So jumping ahead of time, you could see much of our weekend okay, but this is the storm system moving in, and it starts to track across. And what is just kind of almost crazy with this is where the rain is going to be. All of us in this sector need some of the rain, but where it has been so dry, we may miss out on some of the rain. You see it right here. This would be by Sunday night into Monday morning. That's when some of the heaviest weather could be around parts of Scotland, back through Northern Ireland, Wales, England. Well, we're going to be on the edge of the heavier rain. If it just shifts a little bit more to the south, which is possible, same thing in Ireland, then more of that rain could be around. But as of now, looking a bit more to the north, deeper to Monday, the area of low pressure sliding off to the east. Still strong winds across the British Isles, back toward parts of the Netherlands, over toward Belgium, and then we get some of that rain moving back through Germany, in Denmark, and of course Norway, Sweden, Finland, eventually getting some of the rain. You see it right in here. This is by Tuesday morning. By Tuesday morning, still those strong winds on the backside of this area of low pressure. That could lead to some power outages in spots, and then we'll monitor that next system that will be approaching on Wednesday. That's the next one that will also take a very similar track by the time we get into the middle of next week. Now, let me break down the winds and zoom down in just a moment. This gives us a feel. Miles per hour right in here to keep everyone covered. Kilometers an hour as well. So we have both scales on your screen. As we go out in time here, let's move forward, and you can see everything kind of winding up as we work our way into Saturday. This is Saturday. Now, this spin here approaching Iceland is not the one I'm highlighting. We have one spin here. It's coming out of here across the northern Atlantic. So it's a little bit tricky because it's going to take a moment to kind of get its act together, which makes it a little bit more difficult to forecast overall. But you see here by Sunday, here's Ireland just off toward the west. That's where this system is building. Winds will be around 50 miles per hour. These are the gusts are 80 kilometers an hour. But as it starts to work in, again, Sunday night, Monday morning, that's when some of those winds will be stronger. And I'll zoom down, and we could have some of the winds around gusting to around 70 miles per hour, 110 kilometers an hour as this works across. And then you see those really strong winds as well as we work our way back toward Denmark, parts of Norway, Sweden, of course, on the south side, better chance of some strong winds. Same thing, 50 to 70 miles per hour with the gust, or 80 to about 110 kilometers an hour. And then as this works its way, say over toward Latvia, Lithuania, still some gusty winds, Estonia, but it will start to weaken as it moves into Finland. And then you can see right in here, there's that secondary windmaker, second storm system that will be trying to punch into Northern Ireland and Ireland by the time we get into Wednesday. So here's a closer look. Again, this is Sunday. Scale on the right-hand side of your screen. Here is the core of the winds. This white shading we're seeing in here, that's what moves in, as I mentioned, Sunday night into Monday. And you see some of that red showing up as we work our way into early on Monday and midday on Monday. That's the pocket of some of the strongest winds. So the winds that will hit about 70 for gust won't be widespread, but that's why I'm watching that track carefully. Strong winds filtering in. All of us will feel these strong winds. It's just a matter of if you have the 70 mile per hour winds or the 30 mile per hour winds. And then by the time we get into Tuesday morning, those stronger winds right across Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium, most of it to the north, but we're going to be right on the edge of it, northern Germany. And then keep an eye on those strong winds, parts of Norway, Sweden, and then watch watching over toward Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, whereas we work our way into late Tuesday, early Wednesday, that's when we could get some of those winds gusting to about 80 kilometers an hour, 50 miles per hour. This is going to be a fast mover, right? This is already by Wednesday, that's sliding across. And here's the next area, right? You can see some of the winds in this as well, gusting to about 50 miles per hour. So that's what's going to move in. Very similar track by the time we get into Wednesday morning and Wednesday midday as we work our way back toward Ireland and Northern Ireland with a second system that will be headed our way. Now, looking at the rain, because this is a fast mover, unfortunately, some of us are not going to get a whole lot of rain out of this. Even where we get the rain, it's going to come in and it's going to move out. This is the 6-day rain total, so I know there's a lot going on this map. And you can see it's kind of this shading in here where we have some of those whites showing up, where we'll have some spots of 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. But it really depends on how close we are to the center of this for some of those rain totals. And I mentioned we could get more, say, over toward Edinburgh, and then not anything at all, or almost next to nothing in London, for example. So it is going to be a fine line. So Monday through Wednesday, working across from the west to the east, this significant wind maker. The wind's more of the factor in this because of the speed. Yes, there will be some rain for some of us, but because of the speed, that flood threat is not as high as something we may see later in fall or early in winter. But with some of those wind gusts, power outages will be a possibility closer to the center of this, where the core of it comes on shore, where we have those 70-mile-per-hour gusts, and tree damage will also be a possibility. So I'll continue to monitor the track and the rain outlook on this, and the rain outlook, no doubt, very important for a lot of us as some different areas try to get some rain. We have been so dry. Speaking of which, I want to switch back to what's going on right now, and you take a look at the bigger picture. We've had some of the rain, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, a couple little showers, parts of Norway, Sweden, and then keep an eye on a hit or miss shower as we get into Wales and England, and then as we work our way through Germany, the Netherlands, seeing a couple of showers just kind of pivoting around. Czechia, we could get a couple of these showers working their way back toward Poland. Slovakia, most of it's been to the north, but as we get toward Romania, in parts south, even near Greece, Bulgaria, we've had a couple showers and storms around Turkey. We're actually going to see a few popping up. So you see, here's Bulgaria, south through Greece, North Macedonia, Kosovo, Montenegro, Albania, a couple storms possible, even Turkey. That is different. I'll be watching that because, again, these areas we desperately need some of the rain. Hit or miss Poland, Slovakia, seeing that. Hungary, a couple hit or miss showers, and you see that again. Some rain storms as we work our way into tomorrow. Austria, Switzerland, northern Italy, Portugal, we're mainly dry, but Spain, we're going to get some pop-up storms tomorrow, and you see Turkey as well getting a couple of those storms. And then as we work our way into Saturday, watching Switzerland, Austria, Czechia, Slovakia, for some of the rain. Hungary, Slovenia, we'll see some of the rain. Croatia, we could get a couple of those showers. Serbia, hit or miss as we go over the next few days. But all eyes will be what's going on back in the northern Atlantic, back to the west, because again, by the time we get into Sunday night, that next system will be rolling in. Here's the big picture with what's going on today. See Finland south side, some thunderstorms possible. Seeing a few in Russia, Belarus, just kind of seeing this spin working in some of the showers, hit or miss. The UK over toward the Netherlands, some spotty showers, Germany, Poland, same thing into tomorrow. A little bit heavier parts of Norway, Sweden, back toward Finland, Helsinki, we could get a couple showers, maybe a rumble of thunder too. Latvia, a couple of those showers around Belarus, kind of hit or miss as we work our way into Friday. Iceland, here comes that next spin. This is that not the one that's going to bring some of the major weather. This is an initial spin, but watching some heavier weather possible on Saturday in Iceland. Norway south through Denmark, seeing some of the rain. But it's this next system. This is the one we'll be watching that will work its way on Sunday and start to work in. So as far as rain totals go, 3-day rain totals, you see this is just kind of not a whole lot, not what we need. Again, rain totals staying very small for many of us. A little bit more back toward parts of Norway, Latvia, down through Belarus, where we could get some spots over 50 millimeters of rain. Could see a couple extra showers around kind of repeat ones. Northern sections of Germany back toward Denmark, some spots. We could get over 25 millimeters of rain. Still with that thunderstorm outlook, Austria, northern Italy, especially as we work our way back toward northeastern Italy. Slovenia could get a couple storms with that 75 millimeters of rain, a possibility. France back through Spain, not as much, but there will be those stronger storms I was talking about a minute ago back through Spain. Portugal will mainly dry, but you see Turkey, Bulgaria, back through parts of Greece, for example, a couple showers, Romania, where we could get some spots over 25 millimeters of rain. That fire threat has been just so incredible in the bad sense of the term. It's just been so horrific. So we need to get some rain on the move in some spots. So scattered rain and storms for now. More active to the north, of course, more drier to the south, hotter to the south, watching that fire threat. But that large storm system that will be coming in as we work our way deep into Sunday and then working across Monday through Wednesday. I'll monitor those impacts and a second system back behind it that'll be following it kind of on that same path. I'll be watching that. So thank you for taking the time to subscribe. More importantly, spreading this information. Have a good rest of your day.